All right then. So now what we have to do is let's clear all these things. Okay. So let's go ahead and install the necessary dependencies first. So let's say npm install Express. First we need to install the Express. Then we need to, since we are going to use the TypeScript, so we need to use install this types which supports that Express. Then I'm gonna say I'm going to use the TypeScript, so I need to download the TypeScript. Then I need to download the TS node. Then I need to download Prisma. So since we already download the Prisma and Prisma client, so we don't have to worry about it. So hit the enter. So this should download all the necessary packages. Let's wait. All right. So now we can see that it's successfully downloaded over here. Cool. So then now what I have to do is since we are using the TypeScript, so first we need to configure the TypeScript. So let's go ahead and create a new file over here, tsconfig.json. tsconfig.json. So make sure that you created that file in the root directory. Okay. So over here now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this and I'm going to say compiler options. This is the one, compiler options. And what target that we are focusing on? We are focusing on ES6. ES6. This is the version that we are focusing on. Then module, what module that we are using, which is going to be the common JS. Then and out dir directory, output folder, okay, which is going to be /dist folder. So far we don't have that. So maybe in case if you're having output and everything, that should be dist folder. Then input directory, which means the root directory, which is going to be /src source folder. Then it should be strict evaluation. Of course, it's going to be true. Then and es module interpop, of course, that is also going to be true. Then skip library check, and that is also going to be true. This is the default configuration that we need to configure whenever you are working with Node.js with the TypeScript. All right, cool. Then now what I have to do is I'm going to create a new folder over here called src, because that is our root directory, right? So inside this root directory, I'm going to create a new file called app.ts. Cool. Now let's import the files and everything over here. Import Express from where? From Express. Then import for first I need to create the route. So const app is equals to Express. Then I need to make sure the app is using the JSON data type. So that's the middleware. So let's say app.use express.json, because we need to make sure that app is ready to use the JSON data type. Then I need to export this export default app. All right. So now let's get back over here. I'm going to create a new file called server.ts. So let's import the app from the app. Okay. Then I'm going to configure the port. So process.environment variable, if there is any port variable in the environment, use that. Otherwise use the default port as 3000 or 4000, whatever you wish, you can use that. Then I'm just going to say app.get. If it is home route, I'm going to call a callback function, and I'm going to get the request and the response, and I'm just going to say return response.send hi there, something like this. That's the initial route whenever you're calling that localhost 3000. So this will be triggered and it will run this hi there. It will return the response as hi there if you're getting this message, which means our server is up and running. Okay, now I need to make sure this app is start listening to the specific port. Either listen to the port. If it is listening properly, then I'm just going to say console.log server is up and running. on the port. All right, cool. Okay. So now what I need to do is I need to start this. So how to start it? So in order to do that, what we can do is let's get back to the package.json, and right after here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create scripts. Okay, so we already have the scripts object over here. So right after here, I'm just going to create a new script which is going to be dev, which is developer, and then here I'm just going to say ts node hyphen dev, which is the package which we install, ts node. Using that, I'm going to call this source directory. Inside that, I'm going to call this server.ts file. This is the file which we are going to run now. So let's see, let's check it out. Npm clear, npm run dev. That should ts node dev command not found. Okay, so we ran into that issue. Let's figure it out why it's giving that issue. All right, it's just a simple spelling issue. So it is not ts node dev because the package what we install, it is ts node. So that's the issue. So let's delete it and let's save it. And now if you run it one more time, npm run dev, and you should be able to see it's saying that server is up and running on the port 3000. All right, so let's check it out whether it is working, it's returning that response or not. Let me get back. Okay, let me click over here and bring the browser, and let's say localhost 3000, and now you should be able to see hi there, because that's the response which whenever you're running that localhost 3000 port, this is the response that you get. Because by default we don't have any specific port number on our environment variable, then of course it is going to run in this. So whenever you're calling that localhost 3000, of course it is going to return this home route, which is returning the response as hi there, which means our server is up and running perfectly and it's working fine. Now all we have to do is to go ahead and create all the controllers and the services and routes and everything. Once we mapped everything properly, let's go ahead and create one after another, like create, read, update, delete actions.